Is it?
Let's do it.
Amigos, once again, welcome to the newest edition, the Kalifazz Puro Pichi Party Podcast.
El PPPPP.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Being born in Oceanside, California, I'm so honored today. Wait a minute, I always say I'm honored, right?
You're always honored.
That's right, I'm a very honored man. But today, we're going to do a show for the very first time with Mr. Darin Selnick. The vato is running for the Oceanside City Council. So all I want to do is invite you guys to kick back, drink a damn beer, and kick back and check out the vato.
And you can spot us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Google Play Store, everywhere you get to see your podcast.
That's right. So enjoy the show.
See ya.
Damas y caballeros, it's time. It's time for the Kalifazz Puro Pichi Party Podcast. And now, your hosts, Kalifazz and the funny guy, Guy Murray.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Amigos, una vez más, welcome to the newest podcast aquí on the Kalifazz Puro Pichi Party Podcast.
El PPPPP.
Man, Guy, once again, welcome. Haven't
Welcome
seen you like,
on.
you know,
Hey, it's been a
last time I
minute.
saw you, you were out there in what was the name of that Pichi prison I in Otay?
I don't know.
Oh no, but you weren't.
I don't
locked
know.
up, but you-
I don't even know the facility. I don't know what you're talking about.
Amigos, amigo Kalifazz and Guy, the funny guy, we are so honored right now because for the very first time, you know, being born in Oceanside, California, puro pinche party aquí in Oceanside, California, you know, I got to meet this man a few weeks back. We were at the Vance Hall at this lowrider show.
At the
Remember that
Lowrider show? Yeah.
Yeah,
Little car show.
I had the honor. I was walking out and I see this vato, man. I saw this gabacho. You know, I see this gabacho that you know, he's running for city council. You know, and I was blessed because a while back there was a city councilman. I think his name was Mr. Frizzy.
Frizzy.
Frizzy, and I used to work for a newspaper place in Escondido, and it was so weird because I was right there with the night of the voting, and then like every half hour, every hour, we would go into there was this big ass screen, and they would change all the voting and all that.
Yeah,
So
right.
let's quit talking, man. Shut up, Kalifazz, man. I always get in trouble because they say my kids always tell me, man, Kalifazz, you talk too much. You don't let the other people talk. Amigos, I want to present you guys one of the Oceanside City Council candidates, the one and only Mr. Darin Selnick. Darin, welcome.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks guys. Appreciate being here, having a beer.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, you know he's gonna be good if he can have a modelo.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay, man. So let's tell everybody who Darin Selnick is.
So, I was born in LA. I know that's counter to those.
Boo.
That's why I moved to Oceanside.
That's right.
That's right.
That's when the vato got some class. The vato got some class.
That's
You
right.
know.
So I could have lived anywhere. I'm a retired Air Force guy, veteran, served my country, lived all over the country, and decided, hey, Oceanside is the place to live. So I moved here 11 years ago with my wife, and we have a nice house in Oceanside. And you know, I have my own business. I do consulting. I've worked in healthcare. I've worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Wow.
Helping my fellow veterans. I'm in a number of nonprofits. I help homeless veterans and New Directions for Veterans. I'm in number of local clubs, like in the Oaks and stuff like that.
Right,
so I'm
right.
trying to give back, and I help veterans around the country as they try to get their health care and their benefits and those stuff like that. So the reason I decided to run for Oceanside City Council is because I saw things weren't going so well in the city.
Right,
Things had
right.
improved, but then they were kind of going sideways. They weren't. There's colleagues fighting and homelessness, and I have a lot of experience with homelessness. I have a lot of experience in government and also as a businessman and working in healthcare and whatnot. And I said, I have all this experience, and if you don't take care of your own backyard, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, It's one thing to help everyone else around the country and serve my country in the military, but it's about also helping your backyard. So if you want to know more about me, you can go to my website, darinselnick.com.
Wow.
And it's all up there, open book. But that's why I'm running, to take all my experience and fight for Oceanside. Fight what
That's
Oceanside
right.
needs and gets, and fix the problems. And got all these politicians, and some of these people were kind of paid off by developers, and I'm not taking any of that kind of money.
But
Okay.
doesn't it happen everywhere? I mean, everywhere, all these politicians, don't they all make money on the side? I mean, shit, I would run for city council if you guys want to give me some money. Kalifazz me some
Kalifazz,
money.
the most interesting thing was when we said that Darin was going to be on this episode. I was like, is Kalifazz making a pitch for office? I mean, I could see.
You know what? If Darin Selnick wins, I guarantee you we're going to have a puro peachy party. We're going to have DJing. We're going to have a big-ass party. We're going to have a big
Got
stuff. And then, so all the people that he doesn't want to take your money, I give it to Kalifazz.
Oh, I'll take your money.
Public
You can go on
service,
my
public
website.
service,
Go on my
public
website.
service.
I get all individual donors.
And,
all
that-
individual
and that's the
donors.
whole idea. That's the whole idea that Kalifazz and Guy. I talked to Guy. I go, I want to bring this about though, because like I said, the first time I met you a few weeks back, you were very cool. Your whole team was super cool, and then I invited you to our wrestling match that we had the other day. Man, if I would have known you a little bit more, I would have gotten you body slammed, dude. I swear.
I was looking for it.
He
I
was ready for it.
I was hanging in the ring like,
I know.
where's my wrestler?
I know,
coming to
I know.
body slam me. My wife is there. She was ready for the body slam.
We had our first show a few weeks back when you watched the show. But anyways, I invited Mr. Darin Selnick to come to the ring, and I wanted him to talk and everything. And I go, man, I would wish one of these guys would come and body slam his ass, but I just couldn't, man. If I would have known him a few more days,
Nice
more,
crowd, though. It was a nice crowd.
yeah,
Very
nice crowd.
So tell us, Darin. So the goal is right now. What's gonna happen if you get is it voted or nominated?
No.
How do we use that?
Well, he's nominated, so he is definitely on
okay.
the
You're
card.
nominated.
If you're
There's
voted,
there's just one election in November, and it's whoever gets the most votes. Whoever finishes filing and gets the most votes. And so it depends how many candidates, but that's what it's about. Who gets the most votes?
So if God willing, you get elected, what is gonna make? What are you gonna be different from the other guys that say, "Oh man, we're gonna take care of the homeless and all that kind of shit"? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for the
what are you
homeless?
going to do different?
Well, number one, I'm going to take care of what the residents want. So number one of the problems we have in the city is a lot of the city council people, residents try to call them, email them, they got noise problems, they got homeless problems, they get no response. And that's not what you do. So
Right.
I'm going to make sure we each get one staff person. I'm going to make sure that every resident that calls or emails me is going to get a response, and I'm going to help fix their problem. I mean, that's what I do now. I'm a problem fixer. That's what you learn in the military. You learn to fix the problem, take care of it, and that's what I do. So what am I different? I know how to fix problems. I get the job done.
Right.
And in the military, as long as it's moral, legal, and ethical, you get the job done. You go over the mountain, you go into the mountain. That's what I'm going to do. And I have the experience working in these nonprofits and the government and private sector that I know what to do. And most people else don't. They don't have the experience. And that's what makes me different is number one, I have the experience. But number two, you're hiring me is what you're doing. I work for you. Okay? And all these other people where they take developer money or other contract money and they work for them. I'm just the average guy who has this experience, who wants to represent my neighborhood and my district and my city, because it's a great city, then it can be a greater city. Why should we, for example, have the worst homelessness in North County?
That's crazy.
31%. Why don't we have a plan? We don't even have a commission. It's buried under the Housing Commission, and even the Housing Commission didn't even meet for 3 months in a row.
Is it because they don't care? Because I mean, those poor gente, the homeless people. I mean, poor people. I mean, some of the people. Don't get me wrong. Okay, now if I don't mess this up, but I see some people and they said, I need money for food. But I also see, and again, apologize, but that's the way I feel. I was born and raised in Oceanside, but a lot of times I get very disappointed because we work very, very hard, and not everybody's a veteran. I understand the veteranos, the veterans that serve for all of us and everything, but I do see some homeless people that, they put a sign on the freeway, and you get off on College Boulevard, you get off on Ocean Boulevard, I need money for food, but there's a sign right there. It says we're hiring.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. That's what makes it difficult for me as a resident of Oceanside, born and raised that we've had to work our asses to have what we have, you know? So what is the difference between what I'm feeling and you're feeling?
Not much. I mean, I've had to work for everything. My mom was a single mom of 5 boys.
Wow.
Her way of surviving 5 boys was to go in her bedroom and lock the door.
Wow.
So, look, when I was in high school, the way I made extra money was dig out aluminum cans out of the trash can at lunchtime.
Wow.
Where the richer kids had aluminum cans and take those in. So I know what it's like to be poor. And at the age of 13, I started working.
Yeah.
You know, I just started working any job I could get. And that's important. And I think most people do want to work. Now, there are certain homeless, they have mental conditions.
Yeah.
They have drug conditions. Certain homeless, they don't want any help. So you got to treat them differently than those guys who are just, or gals who are just down in their luck and they screwed up and they want a job. So the way you do that, though, is we have a lot of experts in this city. We have Solutions for Change and Interfaith. They know what to do, but the city just has some programs and they don't have a plan. And yes, there's a lot of people who say they care, but they really don't care.
And that's why we're gonna vote.
They really don't care.
And that's why we're gonna vote for Mr. Darin Selnick, because we need to help out those homeless. Again, I apologize if I sounded rude or nothing, but it's just what it is. Born and raised in beautiful Oceanside, California. So what about public safety?
Well, it's a good question. I did one of the things you learn in the military, and if you're a good steward and manager, is you don't manage from behind a desk or a microphone.
Yeah.
However,
you got to go out where the action is, right? And that's what a good manager or leader does. You wouldn't ask anyone to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. So I went on a police ride along.
Oh.
And for the time I was in the car, for that day, every single call we went on was related to homelessness. The police officer actually saved a guy who was on a fentanyl OD.
Wow.
We had, there's the regular homelessness. They know the regulars by name, and they're trying to get them not to stay on the street because they have mental illness and stuff like that. But every call was that way. And of course, there's other calls, and of course, if you have other things that happen, like for example, there was a big fire. And my house was right by the big fire.
Oh, wow.
And we had to be evacuated. And so part of public safety is the police and the fire. And I really appreciated when they evacuated from my house and saved it from being burned down. But what I learned talking to the police officer and going on these calls is that they are understaffed and they are under-equipped.
Yeah.
And the city is not properly funding them to get them the equipment that they need.
Well,
to do what they need.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a good point. I know the model now is the police are the first responders to a 911 call for medical, and all of the firemen are paramedic trained. So most of the time they'll roll a truck because it's cheaper to send a fire truck than it is to send an ambulance. I was like, by the time the box gets there, if these people haven't coded out or whatever, because the paramedically trained firefighters, because of funding, and it's cheaper to roll a fire truck than it is it just doesn't make sense. An ambulance costs more money.
Yeah, and so we have really good fire and police.
We have definitely fire and police.
But they need to have, they're like 25 short of staffing. They don't have we have the same temporary headquarters, so they're all in different parts. It makes it inefficient. They don't have the up-to-date equipment. I went to I went to the fire department. I went to fire station number 1, the original fire station in the district.
That's by
the city hall.
Yeah.
And I talked to those guys. They're going to be doing remodeling, but they don't have the money coming in to fix up their fire engines.
Wow.
And it's like, what? You don't have the money to fix up your fire engine? Yeah, these are old. We're trying to keep them together. Now, not every fire engine is that way, but it's like, do you want to be the person when the fire department comes, their fire engine breaks down? I don't think so. So we have the money in the budget, but once again, it's priorities. What are we spending the money on? We have this thing called Measure X, but we don't use that well, and so we should be spending to do the hard things, one-time things like a fire headquarters. We do have that. New fire stations, remodeling for 80-year-old fire stations, but we need a police headquarters, and we've had that for years, but done nothing for the police headquarters.
So lo que está pasando ahorita, para toda la gente que nos está viendo ahora en el Kalifazz podcast, es un gran orgullo, porque toda la gente de ustedes bien saben que yo nací en Oceanside, California. Mi padre nació en Arizona, mi mamá en Zacatecas. Pero el orgullo más grande de que siempre presume Kalifazz de que él es de Oceanside. El orgullo más grande ver nacido en Oceanside, California. Crecí en el barrio, en el Pozole, y luego de allí mi papá y mi mamá no querían que fuéramos cholos, you know. I mean, la neta, era la onda de nosotros.
Sí.
So mi padre nos mueve de Loretta Street y nos movemos para la Michigan and Denmark. Lo que estoy haciendo ahora, por primera vez, hay que apoyar a nuestro candidato Darin Selnick. El vato quiere ayudarle a toda la gente que vive en la calle, a toda la gente que necesita ayuda. Nosotros mexicanos somos pochos, pero hay que apoyar a este vato, porque este vato quiere apoyar a ti, a usted y a él. Entonces muchas veces la gente que son candidatos, no, que yo prometo, que la chingada, que esto, y no hacen ni madre, Y yo me voy a encargar, yo voy a tratar de apoyar aquí a Darin Selnick, de que nuestra raza podamos confiar en él, en Darin Selnick. So, en noviembre, cuando tienen que ir a votar, tenemos que votar, hay que apoyar a la gente buena que nos va a ayudar, ¿me entiende? So, for me, what I just try to say is, being born in Oceanside, being born in Loretta Street, you know, my parents born in Phoenix, Arizona, my dad, my mother from Zacatecas, they didn't want us to grow up being cholos. Hey, a lot of times it's not not the kids' decision where they were born, but we were blessed that our dad, you know, being in the Army, he served many years. He worked at the commissary store, the old commissary store at the staff or Pendleton, you know. And we moved to Michigan and Ditmar. But I was born in Oceanside. I went to Oceanside High School. I went to Jefferson. I went to Ditmar School. But my goal right now is that all my Mexicanos, toda nuestra raza, we gotta support Darin Selnick.
Hey, I appreciate that. And my job is to support every resident in the city and in the district to make sure that we get the money to fix things up, that businesses can thrive, so that people who want to work can get jobs. And you have to have businesses to get jobs, or you start your own business to get a job. And we need to do a better job. I mean, the city council, one of the things I'm running on is to have a responsive city government. Because if you add on to your house or something like that, and I know a lot of small businesses, like my person who does my hair and stuff like that, they all went to Carlsbad. It's like, why did you go to Carlsbad and not stay in Oceanside? I want to stay in Oceanside, but I couldn't get information from the city staff, so I had to move.
You know, being 58 years old, and that's where the sad part is. When I grew up, right there on Michigan and Coast Highway, which back in the day was Hill Street. And I won't tell you why they changed it from Hill Street, because I was too good. But anyways, and that street right there, you know, there was Vince Dixon Ford, there was Wessel Chevrolet, there was Rory Buick. But the city of Oceanside they had that opportunity to go put this car country right there. And I think they wanted to do it right there by where the drive-in is. So what did they do? All that money Oceanside lost, it goes to Carlsbad.
Yeah, we have a ton of Carlsbad, and what Carlsbad does is they send their homeless to us.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. It's sad, but it's a fact. That's why our homelessness went up 31%. But we didn't have to be that way.
Right.
But you need people in the city council who are going to fight for the residents and be business friendly, so it's easy to get a business license. It's easy to start up a business, because we need more jobs. And we need more affordable housing. You know, it's really expensive to live there.
Very expensive.
And all I see in the city council meetings is people fighting and this and not listening to the residents, and then developers get all these waivers, so there's not enough parking. Do you remember you used to be able to go to the beach and just park really easy?
Wow.
And now, hey, look,
That's
the
a
hotels
nightmare.
are great. You can't find any parking.
No parking.
And the residents are there, can't find any parking. So if you want tourists to come in, you have to have parking. And the residents should be able to go to the beach and have a place to park. And go to the restaurants and all that kind of stuff like that. But you have to have a city council that's working for you, responding to your needs. And that's what I hear when I talk to people. They're like, hey, we had noise problems. My city council person doesn't respond. I want to have a dog park for my dog. Sounds like a good idea. City Council doesn't respond.
Yeah, they wanted to make the dog park. They wanted to actually have dog beach access near the
Yep.
harbor, the northest jetty. Then that would be perfect. Have
Yeah.
a little dog beach and have a little run. You got a jetty, you got a second jetty, perfect camping and
Yep.
parking.
Well, not even that. I mean, me again, born and raised in Oceanside, 3-4 blocks away from the beach. I've never liked the beach. I mean, I used to always work out. You know, I work out and
Work
all that
out.
stuff.
You never
know,
like
and
what you got next
Yes,
to you.
but I just see like there's so much stuff that we can do for Oceanside, all that area where the old driving was. I mean, what a wasted land.
But we're working on that.
They're
Is that
working
what
on
we're
it.
doing?
They're
We're working on that right
developing
now.
So
We've got a great development called Ocean Camp.
Ocean
Okay.
Camp. Yep.
And there's going to be a whole mixture of 700 new homes, apartments, condos, the whole gambit. There's going to be a nice resort there. There's going to be restaurants there.
Is any of that going to be low income? Because
Yes.
what they've done on
Yes,
Mission Avenue, just east of the hill, right there, across from Mosen, and those apartments, those are low income, and that whole strip there. But then it's going to stop and become super commercial again.
Yeah, there's a percentage that is low income. We would have more low income if we would, rather than beat developers with a stick, give them more incentive to build the low income.
but okay, now I'm going against you guys. Okay.
Go against me.
Because I mean that's the whole topic here. That is the reason why we're doing this show. Maybe you got to tell me I'm wrong. Why is it everything about low income? Why not help us out that we don't have a house right now per se? We lost our house when the recession came down. Why is it always have to be low income and not make it easy on us that as of right now we can't afford to buy a house, we can't afford to do this. I mean, I apologize, but this is the reason why I invited Mr. Selnick here. I don't just want to say, oh, it's going to be low income. What about us that we're not low income, we're not high income either?
But what you're looking for is comparable housing. You want
Why not
you
give,
want a
But
good median and a good base.
Interestingly, the term low income is a technical term, but when you look at the income levels, not necessarily that low income.
Yeah.
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 See,
You're making $70,000-$80,000 a year, and you're still considered low income.
Yep.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, Oceanside, we're all not just Oceanside.
But to your point, it's about having the ability to have all types of housing,
Right.
so that you can move up.
Because we
You
work
can
hard.
start an apartment, you move up, you save up, you get to that condo, you get to that townhome,
Yep.
you get to that single family. So you don't want to have all low income, you don't want to have all high income. You want to have that mix so that when your kids start in the workforce, right, they're right out of college
Right.
or high school and they're a new plumber or whatever, that they have something to live in. And you have to meet with the residents to figure out what's going to be the appropriate mixture and where it is. And don't get these darn waivers
Right.
since you don't have parking.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah. Again, and that was the reason why. I mean, I'm so honored to have you here, and I'm very happy that Guy Murray is here because, being born in Oceanside and we have you here. It's not we're just getting this and that. No, let's be real. Let's talk what we feel, and because I'm talking for not just for me, but for him and for her and everything. So the other stuff that I've seen on your flyer, the military and the veteran support. What does that mean?
So there's a lot of, everyone knows Camp Pendleton. Camp Pendleton's been here like 80 years, since really World War II. And there's it had like 10,000 civilians that work there. It's got like 47,000 military. And Oceanside has in the city close to 15,000 veterans.
Wow.
who are retired like me, or veterans who spent 4 years, whatever, and they live in the city. That's a big percentage.
Right.
Out of 176,000, it's like 8%. The city does nothing for the military veteran, and the average resident is a big supporter of the military.
Right.
And Camp Pendleton is a focus of a lot of jobs.
Right.
It has, this blew my mind when I first read this, $6 billion economic impact.
Wow.
Regionally. $6 billion, because all those military people who don't live in the city, guess what? They go to your restaurants.
Yeah.
Yep.
They rent stuff.
Yeah.
They spend money. unless you're not very welcoming, and then they go to Carlsbad or someplace else.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, they rent houses. You know, they buy houses. Plus, you have the veterans. Chamber of Commerce is welcoming the average person. I mean, you go almost any place in this town, and if you were to say, "Can I have a discount?" they'll give you a 10% discount, or they're already just going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone loves the military and the veterans here, but the city does nothing.
Right.
And so we want them to stay here and spend their money here.
Right.
I want Oceanside to be the drive-to place, not the drive-by place.
Right. No, yeah, of course.
And so I'm proposing for the homelessness. I'm proposing we set up a homeless commission. So if it's not important, if it's not seen, it's not important.
Right.
Same thing with the military. If we want to leverage that $6 billion into our community, into our businesses, then we need to have more official relationships. We need to have a military and veterans commission, so that veterans will come and open businesses here. They'll spend their money here. Camp Pendleton, they have all these contracts and stuff like that. They could be doing more contracts with our city businesses, which would make more jobs for our city. And if you don't pay attention, it can go away.
Right.
It can go away. At $6 billion today, they could pack up and they could go somewhere else.
I remember back in the days in Oceanside, right there by the beach. I remember we had this big, excuse my English, a big ass arcade. There were, we would be able to go with our parents. That was right next to where the house from, oh my God, what was that movie?
The Top Gun house.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so exciting because, you go in there, it was like a big ass arcade. In all honesty, with Oceanside, there was really not a lot of violence. You would hit the barrios, but that's what I think we need. Bring people from out of town, bring like something different, something where it's fun, something exciting, and again, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'd love to brag on from Oceanside, but I don't think that that we have so much violence, or I don't know what that word is we use in Oceanside. I think Oceanside is not as bad as people think it is. I don't think it is.
No, it's not. So some of the reputation is because of the old 50 years ago when you had the nudie bars.
Yeah. Oh. I never went there. I swear to God, I never went.
I saw someone just like
the Purple Church.
So there was a rough image, but it's a tame image now. It's got the restaurants. It's got new things like Ocean Camp, which is being developed now. Besides the home, it's gonna have a resort. It's gonna have a rock climbing wall. It's gonna have a lazy river,
awesome.
Bike trails. You can shop there. You can eat there. You can vacation there. You can even
COVID.
Bless you. And you can even ride artificial waves.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
You have a giant wave pool, and you can swim in it. You can ride the surfboard.
Right.
You can do all that stuff like that, and that's going to be done in a couple of years. So that's going to be awesome. That's going to bring a lot of people. What's the importance of bringing these tourists in? They spend the money. We get their sales tax, and that funds your city parks, and that funds your police, and that funds your fire. Now, a dumb thing that the city council did was, when you talk about it, people being able to move up and buy a house.
Yeah.
Well, no one likes Melrose tax, because a Melrose tax is just simply an additional tax on your house.
Mm-hmm.
So like a $40 or $50 a month, which makes it more unaffordable.
Right.
They passed a few months ago. They passed an ordinance that's going to say every new development above 16 units is going to have a tax.
Wow.
So who's that? Is that going to hurt the developers? No, they don't pay the tax.
No.
It's me. It's you.
Yes,
it's your kids. It's your friends. Anyone who wants to get in a new condo or something, they're still going to have to pay $50 a month more. What's the purpose of that? I'd rather have the tourists coming in and then paying that sales tax, because Ocean Camp's going to bring in literally like $5 or $6 million a year.
Yeah.
And that's money that can go to all sorts of stuff, pay for those fire engines, help get the homeless, beef up our parks. We want to make sure our parks are well lit and safe. Even our harbor is doesn't have enough money. Is falling apart.
It's funny because, again, I've been to the harbor, and I'm 58 years old. And I've probably been to the harbor. We were just there maybe 3-4 months ago. But I think because we live here, we don't appreciate what we have, But Darin, I want to thank you. And I want to see if there's anything that we can do to help Darin Selnick. We need la comunidad hispana. We need.
Here's a shirt.
Oh, there's a shirt.
Here's a shirt.
We need to get la comunidad hispana. We gotta get all la gente mexicana. ¿Qué es lo que quieren ustedes que Darin Selnick haga para la ciudad de Oceanside? ¿Qué podemos hacer para mejorar? What can we do? Vamos a platicar, vamos a juntarnos con Darin Selnick. Si yo tengo que ayudar, if I need help, hablen conmigo. Vamos a juntarnos con Derek. Podemos hacer algo grande. We can do something big, a little, just like a picnic or something. We can plan something. Kalifazz is ready to help. We have Guy here. Let's help. Let's vote. We need Darin Selnick to help Oceanside, a nuestra gente, a su familia, que crezcan, que puedan comprar sus casas, que puedan ayudarse uno al otro tanto que trabajamos. I think I'm going to make that, I don't know if that's the word, the challenge. I want to see any way that I can help. Any way that I can help. And I know Guy will be there for you, where we can get the Hispanic community, because we do have a lot of Hispanics here. I will push with all our Samoan friends. Let's see how we can have Darin Selnick get elected, because the vato will take care of us. I really feel you will, because honestly, if we would have called another vato to come out here, or a lady, come on man, let's have a beer, I'm not gonna do it. You know, I mean, honestly, it's the truth. All I can say is, Darin, before we end this podcast, I want to thank you, and I want to commit. Let's put the hand over here so we can see it. I want to commit, if there's any way that we can help you. Guy is a good promotions person. How we can help Darin Selnick get elected for the Oceanside City Council.
We need to get out the word. We need volunteers. You can go to my website, or they can contact you. Our website, you can put your information in. We have an email. You can email me. But we need volunteers. If you live in the city, you live in the district, we can get you a sign. We can get you the information. We need people to help us go door to door, spread the word to your neighbors and friends. If you want to put on a little event, I'll come to your house. I'll come to your neighborhood.
And you'll have a beer with us.
Salud. We'll have a beer. You bet.
Okay, salud.
Yeah.
I already finished mine.
We'll have a beer. We'll
Pass
talk it
one
over.
over there.
And this is about you, the citizens, the residents. I'm here to fight for you. I'm here to be your guy who's going to fight for you to get what you need.
And I believe you, man.
That's
believe
what
you.
I'm doing. That's why I joined the military.
If there's anything we can do, let's push Darin Selnick for City Council. So ya saben, en noviembre, vamos a votar. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Porque él sí nos va a ayudar. Tengo fe que Darin Selnick para Oceanside City Council.
Vaya a su sitio, Darin Selnick, DARINSELNICK.com, DarinSelnick.com. Vaya a su sitio.
So once again, before we go, your last words. But not that you're dying,
You're
Darin. Not that you're dying.
dying.
Let's do it one more time, because you know what?
Well, I want to thank you guys both for
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes.
The beer's been very good.
Great.
You've only had a couple sips.
I drive. So I can't drink too much.
Well, I know a guy named Fernando. He can drive.
No.
Oh yeah.
That's true. And I forget. But I want to thank your audience. I want to thank you guys, and it's really about what we can do to make this a better city for all of us and our families. And it's a great town, and we want to make it the best.
Yeah.
We want to make it
Absolutely.
Thank you, Derek. Best of luck, and let's push Mr. Darin Selnick
Darin
for
Selnick,
City
ladies and gentlemen.
Council in Oceanside, California. Amigos, una vez más, gracias. Thank you for tuning in on this podcast. We hope you guys enjoy the show, and we want you guys to share the show. Si vives en Oceanside, Vista, Carlsbad, Escondido, San Marcos, no importa, hay que apoyar a una persona que te va a apoyar a ti, me va a apoyar a mí y a él. Amigos, una vez más, thank you for tuning into the Kalifazz Puro Pichi Party Podcast.
El pi, 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 pi.
Hasta la vista, baby!
Peace!
To be on our show, contact Kalifazz. Kalifazz Studio, 760-208-7264. If you want to be on our show on our next episode, Get in touch with us today.